Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Remember the last time I talked about the Steam Machine? Remember the comments that I made? Weak hardware, premium price for no reason, a niche product sold only through Steam. And this is just Valve being delusional. Yeah, about that. Because today we got a retailer price leak that, if even remotely accurate, basically confirms what I said from the start. This thing was never going to be cheap, and Valve was never trying to compete with consoles on price. Hell, they said themselves it's going to be priced along a premium PC and what those prices go for. And with PC part prices climbing, NAND shortages getting worse, and storage costs exploding, it's starting to look like less and less like me being pessimistic and more like I was just early. Let's break it all down. So, here's what happened. A Czech retailer called Smarty quietly listed the Steam Machine, not publicly, but buried inside the site's source code. And the prices $950 for the 512 gigabyte model and $1,070 for the 1 terabyte model. This is before taxes. Now, before everybody in the comments screams fake, here's where it gets interesting. Another major Czech retailer named Alsa also listed very similar prices. Now, these are two independent retailers, same ballpark, same SKUs. Now, that doesn't mean that these are final prices, but it does mean that they're not random numbers pulled out of thin air. These look like internal estimates or early wholesale based listings, which retailers often use before final MSRP is locked. And that's where the conversation gets real. Now, let's be fair, because yes, retailers mark things up. Smarty sells the Steam Deck OLED, for example, at about $633 pre VAT, while Valve sells it directly for $549, and that's roughly a 15% markup. So if we apply that same logic to the Steam Machine prices, $950 becomes roughly $826, and the $1,070 becomes roughly $930. That's likely much closer to what Valve's direct pricing would look like in the US. And here's the key point. Even after adjusting for markup, this thing is still nowhere near cheap. Which brings us back to the hate comments. When I said the Steam Machine would launch at a premium price, people lost their minds. Remember what I said. Why would anyone pay that when a PS5 exists? This is weaker than a PS5 Pro and Xbox Series X, and Valve is going to be launching a niche product again. But here's the thing. I never said it was a console killer. I said it was a PC in a console shell. And now Valve is doing exactly what they said they'd do. They are not subsidizing this hardware. Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo sometimes sell their consoles at cost or at a loss. And then they make money on game licensing, platform lock-in, and subscription services. Valve doesn't need to do that. They already own the store. They already print money. They don't need to eat a $200 loss per unit. So, instead, they're pricing this like a small form factor gaming PC, which, guess what, means higher prices. Let me say this clearly, because I've said it before and I'll say it again. I do not see this launching below $750 at all, period. A PlayStation 5 Pro is hovering in the $700 to $750 range, and that's without the disc drive. An Xbox Series X, it's again the more expensive model, 2 terabytes, $750. And those systems are mass produced, heavily subsidized, locked ecosystems. The Steam Machine is open PC architecture, custom silicone, premium storage, SteamOS optimization, no subsidy safety net. And yes, to kick it all off, it's less powerful than a standard PlayStation 5, which makes the pricing sting more. But it also explains it because this isn't about raw teraflops. It's about form factor, flexibility, and Valve's ecosystem control. Here's the part most commenters completely ignore. We are in a global NAND shortage. Storage prices are rising. Memory prices are rising, and they are rising fast. This hits the Steam Machine harder than consoles because consoles lock storage configs aggressively. Valve is offering 512 gigabytes and 1 terabyte models out of the gate. PC buyers expect expandable fast storage. That alone explains why the 1 terabyte SKU is breaking $1,000 at retail. And honestly, this is probably why Valve hasn't announced final pricing or a firm release date yet. They revealed the hardware in mid-November and hinted at Q1 2026, and then went quiet. That doesn't seem like indecision to me. That screams waiting for component costs to stabilize. So when people say, wow, Valve really messed this up, well, I don't really see it that way. What I see is a premium niche product, a SteamOS showcase, a living room PC for people who already live in Steam, and this was never meant for the average console buyer. This is for hardcore PC gamers who hate Windows and are Valve and Steam fanboys. Steam Deck owners who want more power, and living room setups without jank. And if you expected a $499 miracle box, that was never realistic. Not in this market, not with this hardware, and not with these supply chains. So yeah, when I said weak hardware at a premium price was still the most likely outcome, I wasn't being negative, guys. I was being realistic. And now, with these leaked prices and rising PC part costs with no subsidies in sight, it's starting to look like that take aged pretty well. Valve hasn't officially confirmed anything yet. But if these numbers are even close, the Steam Machine is about to be one of the most debated launches of 2026. Let me know what you think. Was this inevitable, or is Valve pricing themselves into a corner? And as always, thanks for hanging out with me here at Star Flag Media Gaming. We will catch you in the next video.